burrows and somehow escapes. Then, if it doesn't get eaten, it swims over to the shore and forms a fist on submerged plants. Now the real coincidences begin. First, presumably, the water level of the duck pond must drop. This exposes the vegetation so that the grasshopper can get at it without drowning. Our worm can only make it if the right kind of grasshopper comes along. That's fine. But the grasshopper had best hurry because there's only so much fat stored in the cyst, and the worm might starve. Well, here comes along just the right species of grasshopper, and it's obligingly feeding on the vegetation. Bingo, then the grasshopper just happens to eat the worm. The cyst bursts. The worm emerges inside the body of the grasshopper on which it feeds. I presume the worm must eat enough of its host to stay alive, but not too much, or else the grasshopper will keel over dead. At any rate, now the worm is almost an adult, and it's ready to reproduce, but first it's got to get out of that grasshopper. At the critical stage, if the grasshopper is hopping in a sunny meadow away from the water, the worm is doomed. But it happens, let's say it just happens to be feeding near the duck pond. The worm perhaps bores its way out of the grasshopper's body or perhaps excretes. At any rate, there it is on the grass drying out. Now it requires a heavy rain to wash it back into the pond so it can lay more eggs and reproduce. If anything goes wrong in this particular set of circumstances for the worm, the horsehair worm is screwed. At governor's school this summer, I learned that I am not a horsehair worm. You shouldn't be either. My message is that too often we let life pass us by. Like the horsehair worm, we become dependent on our good fortune for our success. This, unfortunately, is a recipe for a mediocre life. Experiences like PGSIST teach us that we have to grab life by the horns, and we have to take charge of our destiny. And we gain the tools to do this by adapting to our environment and by building powerful relationships with the people around us. For every one horsehair worm that makes it all the way through the journey and back into the duck pond, how many hundreds of thousands must miss the grasshopper or don't get that heavy rain that they need to wash back in? They starve, they dry up, they die. But unlike our friend the worm, we can adapt to changes and unexpected circumstances in our lives. The book Lord of the Flies tells the story of a cohort of normal, civilized youth. They are isolated together for weeks with no outside contact. Many of them are fending for themselves for the first time. That story ends in tribal warfare. Of course, there is nothing like tribal warfare here at governor's school. The boys in the Lord of the Flies had trouble adapting to their new environment. It was an environment without the support and supervision of adults. Being only boys between the ages of 6 and 12, we can't really expect them to have the ability to adapt that well. Adaptation is something that we learn over time. One big thing I had to adapt coming here was doing my own laundry. My mother is now so much more appreciated by me for what she goes through every week to make sure my clothes are clean. Of course, not all changes and adaptations that we face in our lives are so easily dealt with or so easily foreseen. We learned this when we walked into the Phillies game an hour and a half late because our buses never came to pick us up. If the grasshopper doesn't come to the worm's toast. We took the subway. We didn't just sit there outside the cafeteria and give up. We adapted to the new circumstances. And in addition, compared to hiring a bus, subway tokens are dirt cheap. I don't know how much we saved the program's budget through this unfortunate accident with the buses, but it's another added benefit. You never guess what you're going to miss until you've been away for a while. One thing I was not expecting was the mountains. I really miss the mountains back home where I live. Getting over homesickness is just another type of adaptation that many of us practice here. Still, the transition into governor's school pales in comparison to the transition out of it. This month, the world said goodbye to the Harry Potter series. When Book 7 was released, which I haven't read yet, so don't shove anything out, the world changed when that last book was released. No longer are millions of people anticipating the next chapter of Harry's story. It's over. Kids our age grew up with Harry Potter. I have to dig pretty far back in my memory to remember a time when I wasn't waiting for the next book to come out. Here at Ghost School, as with the Harry Potter series, we get to some point of thinking that it's going to go on forever. That like the end is far off in the distance and that we don't have to worry about it. And all of a sudden, the 7th Harry Potter book comes out, and we're in the last week of governor's school, and where did it all go? We spent weeks here making friends, learning tons of new things, living in an environment of general high intelligence, and then we have to say goodbye. I'm afraid to read the last Harry Potter book, and it's for the same reason that I'm afraid of the next hour or so. At the same time, I have to say that it's just another adaptation we learned to make. Adapting to a world without Harry Potter and adapting to life after PGSIST. We can make something wonderful out of the worst of times, and we can just as easily make something horrible out of what should be the best of times. If your grasshopper doesn't come along, you don't have to sit in the pond and starve. You have skills. Skills are your key to getting out of bad situations and into good ones. The horsehair one doesn't have a brain. It can't learn anything. It can't learn skills to help it out. Our little friend's life is looking more and more bleak. It can't adapt, it can't learn, and here's another thing. It's one of the loneliest creatures on the planet. I thought that I might be lonely here at governor's school. Before I came, my mind conjured up images of a whole bunch of computer addicts who would have to be forced to have any interaction with each other. I have socially grown immensely here. This means that I more fully understand the importance of connecting with other people. When I came here, I honestly didn't care much about how computers worked or how the internet worked. And to be honest, I still don't care today. So what then did I gain from coming here? I learned how to make friends, and more specifically, I witnessed a process that took a group of 55 strangers and turned them into a functioning, cohesive society in a matter of weeks. Think back to your first day. Think about how you didn't know anybody. You didn't know any of the other 55 kids, or perhaps one other. Think about how awkward our interactions were at the very beginning. It's amazing to reflect on how much we've grown on each other. In relation to our friend the horsehair worm, the value of human bondage becomes very clear. Your life right now could be a lot like the horsehair worms in that you've been pretty darn lucky, like the worm has to be lucky. Good things happen in your life to bring you where you are now. Sure, you've had to adapt to unfavorable circumstances, but on the whole, good circumstances made your life as good as it is. Now, think about how many of those good things that happened to you were because of other people. The horsehair worm cannot control the random events in its life, but you can by doing good things in other people's lives. Your ability to do for others what they've done for you is a huge reason to cherish the bonds that you have, not only the ones you have here with your families and with the PGSIST friends, but throughout the rest of your life. You reap what you sow, and that process is called love. And I'm not talking about romantic love, I'm talking about the kind of love that the city of Philadelphia was named after. Above our adaptability, above our skills and knowledge, love is the most important reason why we can take charge of our destiny. We launch headfirst into life and take an active role because we know that behind us we have the support of all those people that we have in our interpersonal relationships. All the knowledge and the skills and adaptations in the world will get you nowhere if you don't have loving connections with other people. Humans need each other to survive, and it's as simple as that. Your life is not like the horsehair worms. I only told you about the horsehair worms so that you would know what not to do. Don't passively drift through life, hoping that good things will happen to you like the worm does. Opportunities like the one here at Ghost School are rare, and you have to grab a hold of them. It's up to you to learn from every experience, take every opportunity, and most importantly, connect with the people around you. These 5 weeks have been for me a microcosm of life. Essentially, on Sunday, June 24th, we were born. And yesterday, when we finished our ITPs, we retired. And today, we have to say goodbye. At the end of your lifetime, you reflect on whether it was worthwhile, whether it was a worthwhile means to an end. At the end of this program, I hope that you consider it worthwhile. Worthwhile not just for the things that you'll take here and carry into the future, but worthwhile for its own sake as a marvelous experience. Thank you.